my story. This is where I grew up, with an older brother and sister, and 2 parents. As a kid, I spent a lot of time outside. And I still do. When I was in grade 2, me and my siblings were baptized at St. Anthony's Catholic Church, although I didn't really know much about God. I'd say that my childhood was pretty cool, full of laughter and adventures. A little bit scary at sometimes, but composed of great memories. My childhood was so full of love, and everything seemed so perfect. That was until I was about 10 years old and in grade 5. This was the year that my self-esteem went downhill. And by grade 6, I hated who I was and how I looked. I always told myself that I wasn't good enough. Grade 7 was the worst of those years. I had become so depressed that I was constantly thinking about ending my life. And the bullying sure didn't help. Getting up for school in the morning was hard for me because I struggled with so much self-hate and was always worried about what people thought of me. And I lost the hope that I once had. Then one summer, something life-changing happened. It was the summer of 2013, my 5th year as a camper at Pleasant View Bible Camp. One night, the whole camp went out to the fire pit. Each of us were given 2 pieces of paper. We were to mentally write down one thing on each. One piece was to represent a time that we couldn't let go of, in which we hurt someone else. The second piece was for a time that we couldn't let go of, in which someone else hurt us. I poured my heart into those pieces. One by one, we each went up to the fire and threw our paper into it. Burning our pieces was supposed to help us let go of our past. When the papers left my hand, something changed in me. A huge wave of peace washed over me, and I finally felt comfort after years of constantly feeling alone. Somewhere inside me, I knew something was telling me, hang in there. Everything is only going to get better from here. It was God, and He was right.
You answer, and you came to my rescue.
That week was when I started my recovery. I also learned what being a Christian really meant, and I made the decision to be one. Last year, I started going to the First Baptist Church, and I joined their youth group. Then, I joined the grade 9 girls small group. Since then, God has been working in my life through my church and has opened me up to many opportunities, including the opportunity to get baptized a second time. Over this past summer, I did the Leader in Training program at Pleasant View and got the chance to be a counselor for a week. This year, I'm back at youth and joined the grade 10 girls small group. I've also taken on the role of being a leader for FBC's Kids Quest program. Since God came into my life, I've learned to enjoy every moment. I've realized the importance I have in this world. I've been able to get through the tough times. I've learned to laugh at myself. And I can now see how beautiful life is. The truth is that if God hadn't spoken to me that one night, my life would never be this good. And this is my dream. My dream is that my story and the story of other Christians will have an impact on you. Hearing the story of other Christians is what helped create a sense of hope in me. I believe that no one is too broken, too sinful, too old, or too young for God. You might be thinking that there's no such thing as God. And I get that. I used to think that to myself all the time. But I tell you that once you experience something, no one can tell you that it didn't happen or doesn't exist. For example, if someone who has never seen snow in their life told me that I'm silly to believe in such a thing, it wouldn't change the truth that I know about snow. Same goes for my relationship with God. It is such a real and alive thing that I know can be hard to understand for someone who doesn't have it, but no one could ever find the words to convince me that God doesn't exist. You might be living your parents' faith, meaning that you say you believe in God because your family does, but you've never made that choice on your own. You might be thinking that you have too broken of a past for God, that you're too messed up or you'll never be good enough. You might think that you can't be a Christian because you swear a lot, or steal from people, or lie to people. Maybe you even think that God can't love you because someone has told you the lie that God hates gays. Let me tell you this. None of that is true. God loves all of those people no matter what anyone tells you. After all, He brought us in this world to do amazing things, and He only wants us to love Him back. Never once did He tell someone that they were too broken or too sinful to be His child. Jesus simply told us to believe in Him, and we would be saved from this messed up world of lies and evil. My dream is that if you haven't already, you would make the decision to follow Jesus. Maybe that would be today, maybe that wouldn't. But I believe that anyone can surrender their life to God and allow Him to do good works in them. If you have made that decision, my dream is that you would have the courage to speak up about it and not let others bring you down for it. When you give yourself to God, your life doesn't become a do this and don't do that way of living like you might think. It becomes, I am willing to give up this past and move on to a better future because I have a desire to be close to the one who will never leave my side. What's amazing about God, which I've learned over and over again, is that no matter how far you run away from Him, you'll only be one step away. I've learned that by being a Christian, I needed to give up a lot of my past. But by not giving these things up to be close to God, I'd be giving up so much more in the end. My dream is that you would come to this realization too, and join me and many others in this amazing journey, and accept Jesus' love and plan for your life.